welcome everyone to today's Ask Her Anything session. At her seat at the table, our invitations are earned through credibility, integrity, and a commitment to lifting others. And today's guest embodies all three. I'm delighted to welcome Devon Montgomery Pasha, founder of DMP Creative LLC and former director at North America for Event Design Collective. Devon brings over 20 years in our industry as a professional MC, facilitator, and event strategist, known for turning passive audience into active participants and for her signature Spark method for engagement. She holds the Certified Meeting Professional, CMP, and Certified Event Designer, CED designations. She has been recognized among the top 100 most influential people in the events industry and named Smart Meetings top speaker for 2024. Today, she applies design thinking and empathy-driven systems to help teams create purpose, high-impact experiences. We're thrilled to learn from her perspective and practices. All right, my friends, let's welcome Devon.
Hey, thanks, Connie.
You're
I
welcome.
don't know if anyone else feels like this. When someone reads your bio, you're like, wow, yeah, I did
It,
that. That's so nice.
it feels good, right? Because you
Yeah.
deserve it. And then it's everything that I just said and shared is very, very much true. And I want to dive into breaking the ice a little bit. For those who don't know you yet, is let's start with my traditional kickoff question. Can you describe your current seat at the table? Like, what does it look like?
It's interesting and for those who don't know my story, as the former director for North America for a collective, so I served as the director here. So it was my LLC that partnered with their LLC, and I serve them as a business to business, and I serve them as a client. They thought of me as an employee, which was a very interesting dynamic. So when I shifted away from that, I decided that I wanted to still, as an LLC, be a solopreneur. So I am the table right now, and I like having to be able to own my seat at the table. I feel like it's the round table. So I serve every seat. I am equal in every seat, and it's really been empowering this year to know that whether I'm in my CEO role, whether I'm in my MC role, whether I'm, trying to work on a marketing or sales plan, or just taking care of Devin the person, Devin the mom, that I can sit at every seat, occupy every seat equally, and it's nice that one doesn't necessarily have to be higher than the other.
I love that response. And you've gone through so much change. And I think ownership of your own LLC and commanding that opportunity for yourself is very powerful. And I'm curious to know through all of your transitions, what's that one recent aha moment that's shaping how you lead right now?
I was in a performance, like a coaching performance course years ago. And it was from like procrastination to performance. It was a business excellence leader. And we were sitting in this master class. And what was interesting was we were talking about our goals and goal setting. And one of the things he taught us was about anti-goal setting. And it was setting the boundaries around your goal. I recently found that paper that I had wrote, that notebook, and it wrote these down. And while looking through it, I realized that the business I was in had crossed every single one of those boundaries. That I had crossed over what I thought was a healthy way to attain my goal. And when I read that, it was sort of the last strength piece I needed to remember that when I'd started that journey, I was going towards something that meant something to me, wanting to be bigger in the industry, wanting to have a voice in our industry. I'd worked in higher ed for a long time, but I was having trouble kind of breaking into the person I felt like I could be. But when I relooked at that paper, I was like, wow, I am now going against all of my own boundaries to maintain or to be in this place. And it's time. It's time to say, this is no longer a healthy place for me to be. This is no longer how I'd like to go down on this journey. I think it's healthy for me to take a step away, to what does that discussion look like? Do you still need me to serve the business in a certain way? I'm the US based person, so if you still need someone US based in terms of execution, et cetera, and so on. But I really needed to take control back over my life and how I wanted to meet my goals and what they looked like. And that was a big aha moment for me, is to remember that one of the other sentences that came out of that training was, if you're not working on your own goals, you are by default working on the goals of others. And that statement continues to make a huge impact on my life, and I share it as often as I can, because between that statement and the boundaries I had set, I realized that at some point in going on this journey that I had diverted away from my own goals in supporting that other entity. And at that point, it was time to say goodbye. I need to go work on me. And this path does not include me in it. And you've made that very clear. So you enjoy your path. I'm going to go enjoy mine.
That is so powerful. I remember this week I wrote a post about boundaries, right? Because once you bend it a little bit, stretch a little bit, that becomes a new norm and a new expectation. And it's really hard to reset where your actual boundaries and goals are for yourself without losing
Hmm.
yourself. And the very powerful move that you did, it sounds like, is you had to leave the situation completely. It wasn't even about
Yeah.
resetting. It's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that decision had been coming, I think, for a time. And it was towards the end of last year when I found that document again. I reminded myself this is what I wanted. I turned 40 at the end of last year in September, and I really wanted to step into this next decade as authentically myself as possible, as serving Devon, as finding power, finding a voice. And it was so important to me to own this idea of there's a Scottish tradition called first footing. And so the first person to cross your threshold in the new year brings things to bring presents. And, they bring something to help you with wealth and abundance. And it's that person is very auspicious. And so I wanted to first foot into my 40s in a way that was prosperous for me, in a way that was representative and holistically Devon.
Mhm.
And that was when I had made the decision. I'm becoming who I need and want to be. I will support Devon in all of her decisions towards her goals, and things that no longer serve me need to be removed from that situation. And I think that gave me the strength to finish out my contract and then to say, thank you for this, but I will not be renewing it.
Mm, wow. This leads us to the next question beautifully, from a career and transition perspective. So you've led, going a little bit back about your work history, you led inside institutions and then the past role of North America Director for Event Design Collective. And then now you are a founder, your
Mhm.
own ship you're driving yourself.
Yeah.
What has been, what through all of those seasons, what was the one thing that taught you about influence and impact?
What was interesting was not realizing how much influence I already had, because in serving a different entity, impact was filtered through their idea of impact
Mhm.
versus my idea of impact. What coincided with that 40th birthday was the Event Tex Awards, which you have to be nominated for. You are not told who nominated you. And then it is a upvoted from your community to the list of winners. So it's you ask your community, you put it out there. I think I asked twice to my community. And when the list came out, I saw that I had made the 100 most influential in the US. And so I was looking at that list, and there were other colleagues who were on it. And I was like, congratulations, that's amazing. They're like, Devin, you made the list. And I was like, yeah, congratulations. They're like, no, no, you made the list of the 100 most influential, period. And I remember sitting there thinking, oh, oh, oh my God. Like there was over 1,000 people on this list, and we're talking a global list. The whole world was represented on this list. And what that said to me was there was enough people that I had made an impact on, not through the collective, not through anything else. It was Devin had made an impact. And because of that, they were moved to say, yes, I will absolutely support that because of the impact you'd had on me in some way. And that was very powerful. So when the list finally came out, I made the top 100 most influential in the industry. the top 100 most influential event professionals and the top 100 most influential in the United States. And I cried. I still get moved by that because it's not an application that's reviewed by a third party. It is upvoted by your community. So that gave me the strength to know that there was impact, that when I show up authentically with my voice and I appear as myself, supporting my own goals, which is supporting others, that it makes an impact. And that was a wonderful validation and proof of impact. And it's really helped me remember to stay as authentic in voice and presence as possible.
Mhm.
Because when I do that, I attract more people to my orbit and then we can all shine a little bit brighter. But that was that validation to just stay on that path. And it has been a very supportive place to stay and to live because I know that at least for a while it has impact and it has stayed there. And I bought the little award and it's on my desk. And to finish the anecdote, my best friend who's never visited my current home came to visit in April with my niece who was almost 2 years old. And my daughter said, "Hey, Auntie Zoe, have you seen Mommy's awards?" And brought her
Mhm.
over to the credenza in my office and said, "See, like she doesn't know what they all are, but she's like, look what Mommy did. Aren't you proud of her?" And in a way, I knew that my daughter was now proud of me too, and was able to show that off. And again, the impact as a mom, seat at the table, to see that she saw that working very hard, and I travel a lot, but for her to see and then say she was proud of me and then be proud enough to show that off was that other level of impact, that it was going to all of my seats, as it were, that and it had this wonderful ripple effect.
Beautiful. And congratulations. It's well deserved in terms of your
Thank you
influence
so
and
much.
impact. And I've seen you grown so much in the last couple of years of knowing you. And when we look at you as a entrepreneur with DMP Creative, what risks did you accept? Because being a mom, and you mentioned traveling a lot, there's some risks there. I'm curious about what risks that you acknowledged yourself, and being an entrepreneur, but also what safeguards or principles help you move with confidence, knowing what your risks are.
So the risk, to answer the first vulnerable one as a parent is I'm not going to be here. I travel a lot, and I traveled a lot with Edco as well. Um, and it was having a conversation with my daughter to say, this is mommy's life, and she said, "Don't you want to be here with me? Do you miss me when you're not with me?" And I said, "Of course I do, and I love being here, and I love being your mom, but I love my job. I love what I do." And I love making me proud of me. And I hope one day you'll understand the value of finding something that you love to do, that you do well, and you feel you make yourself proud. That's something I want for you. And I hope one day you'll understand that I feel good when I go out and do what I do best. And I come home and that makes me a better mommy for you. And that was a hard conversation to have with a 7-year old, to know that I will miss some things and I will do my best to be here for the important ones. So her talent show and her first dance recital, like, yes, I will fly home on Thursday night at midnight because your dance recital's on Sunday at noon or Saturday at noon. I will fly out on Sunday morning to go to my next gig instead of, going directly or whatnot.
Mhm.
The other one was fear. And one of the more unkind things when you're with some people who said, well, the only reason people voted for you or the only reason people have been working with you is because you have our tagline, is because you're in our coattails. So no one's going to want to work with you if you're on your own.
Mhm.
And part of your vulnerable brain says, oh, is that true? Could it be true? Like, again, went back to the award, said, I don't think that's true. And just went and asked some colleagues, like, hey, do you have anything for me? I'm going out on my own. Would love your help. I'd love your advice, whatever you can do. But there is a fear of, I am on my own now. What do I do? I don't know how to run a business. I really don't know how to run a business. So am I going to make mistakes? Sure do. Make them every day. And I learn from them. And some of them are expensive mistakes, like to the tune of like $8,000. Like, yeah, that was a big mistake. I didn't know it at the time. I had done my research. I thought I knew what I was doing. I didn't. And now I've learned that lesson. I've paid that tuition for that class. I will not take that class again.
I,
And
wow.
that is the learning from that particular lesson. And it's knowing that that's still going to happen. And
Hmm.
it's trusting that as I learn and as I grow and as I plant seeds, that they will be nurtured and grow. And accepting fear as a healthy thing. And a lot of us use fear as its original purpose, which was there could be a bear in there, so don't go in there because like you might die because there's a bear in there. Or like that looks really hot. Maybe we shouldn't touch it or go near that because you could get hurt. And that
Hmm.
was the original purpose of fear. It's to keep you alive. It's to keep you safe. But as we've evolved, there are things that we perceive as unsafe because we don't know what's on the other side. And when we don't know what's going to happen, the original fear goes like, I'm going to pull you back from that because I have no knowledge of what's over there. So it's safer to not do that thing. What we have to do is start to assess, is that healthy fear, as in there could be a bear, or is it unhealthy fear and it's just not known? And so taking that step into solopreneur and using that healthy fear to say, I think this is the good fear that's telling me this is what I need to do, this is where I have to go because I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, great. That must mean it's time to grow. That must mean it's time to learn.
So powerful. And there's so many things to unpack from there. I think identifying fear and understanding why it's there, but also good fear versus bad fear is extremely important. And I also love the way you framed tuition. The $8,000 tuition, it's like often as leaders, we don't want to fail. We're afraid of failure. But if we think
Absolutely.
about failure as an actual tuition of lessons to be learned so we can avoid that, is extremely powerful as well. So thank you for reframing it there for us as well. Um, I'm going to quickly pause for a second. Nancy and Madalena, do you have any questions as you're listening to Devon share her insights and her experience that you might want to ask? Feel free to turn on your camera or just, wave your hands if you want to ask it or put it in the chat. I'll look out for those as we continue. Nancy?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Devin.
Hi, Nancy.
Honestly, I've been sorry for the camera off. I like really actually love being, in it with you guys, but I've been up since like 5 in the morning. I'm still in my pajamas and I've been hammering at this computer all day. So I'm like,
Nancy, if it makes you feel any better, I don't know if you can tell, I'm in bed. Um, I literally put on lipstick for the first time in a month. I woke up from a nap 20 minutes before I was going to join this call. So you are in good,
okay, you know
hopefully
what?
good company. Um,
Let's,
I will vulnerably share, I am recovering from surgery.
oh no.
So I have been convalescing. Welcome. You look amazing. You are
I'm,
present.
I'm here.
So yeah, just to give you permission to just always be. I literally did not look like this 10 minutes before I
Well,
joined.
you're looking great. The face is looking snatched. It's very lovely.
Thank you.
You look
Uh,
great too, Nancy.
Yeah,
oh,
you
thank
look
you.
great.
You know
Also,
what?
fellow curly girl, I see you.
Yes, yes. So I not so much a question, but just like do know that I am kind of been in the background, like kind of nodding along and being like, yes, I feel that. Yes, I agree. Yes. So I especially what you were saying around fear and sort of like getting comfortable with it
Yeah,
and knowing that if you're feeling afraid, that's actually a good thing because you're stretching past your
absolutely.
comfort and ability. So like that's something that I've been personally working on a lot over the last, I mean, intensively the last year, but
Hmm.
I'd say for a long time. But as I sort of go through my own reimagining life and work and all of it, that's something that I've been really like paying attention to. Uh, you know, because the immediate reaction is to like retreat, but
Absolutely. Because it's a
knowing,
comfort zone, right? It's like, well, I know how to do this. And I think the question that we need to learn to ask is, am I not doing it because I'm comfortable or am I not doing it because it's dangerous?
Hmm.
And that is a real switch of mindset because often we're go, and we have this sort of myopic look at how we do life. And especially like I remembering like pre-COVID, right? Like I would get up, get showered, get myself dressed, get my little one up, get her ready for daycare, drop her at daycare, get on a train, get to my office and be at my desk. And it'd be like 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, when you break that down, work for the whole day, repeat the process backwards, and then only really have like a half hour with her before I had to put her down for bed and like rushing to make dinner. And it was like there was no time to think. There was no time for reflection. It's just like, and so you get so stuck like your body's like, well, we know how to do this. I'm like, yeah, but are we healthy doing this? Is this good for us? Like, I don't know that this is good for us. I
Yeah.
don't know. And that's when I really doubled back down on my own therapy, on really taking that hour a week to say, what is good for me? What
Yeah.
do I want? Because just we had been pushed to this breaking point. And that's where I think I started to recognize fear as a place to say, hey, am I afraid because it's dangerous? Or am I afraid because I don't know what's going to happen? And if I don't know what's going to happen, do I have any safety net if I take the jump? And
Hmm.
that is the other question that I would say when we're reflecting on fear of bold choices is, if you're going to jump out of the plane, do you have any safety nets? Do
Yeah.
you have any checks on the way down? Do you have any way to deploy or to pivot if you're starting to sense that something needs to change? So I'm not telling everyone to go jump off a bridge. Yeah,
Yeah.
but what I am saying is, are you so afraid to jump off a bridge because you don't have a safety net? Are you afraid to jump off the bridge with a bungee cord? And it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen. And there's a little bit of a thrill and there's a little bit of anticipation. But
Yeah.
like you said, Nancy, is so many of us push to the end of our comfort zone and don't have the ability to say, I'm going to go one step further, just one.
Yeah.
And when you like put your toe in the water and you're like, oh, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Okay, like I'm gonna put my whole foot in the water. Okay, there's no alligators. I'm gonna go up to my shins. I'm gonna go up to my knees. I'm gonna go waist deep. And by the time you've gotten there, now you've reacclimated
Yeah.
your comfort zone. And
Yeah.
even then, while you're making incremental changes, can go further. And then you gain a little confidence. And
Yeah.
that's that other great step is confidence in continuing to move forward. And so that's, why we really need to have reflection and
Hmm.
pause or journaling or group work, wherever you can find those moments for
Hmm.
reassessment and give yourself time. That's when you can have enough quiet to ask your own voice, where is my comfort zone and where can I take a step?
And what do I want? Because
Yes.
sometimes you just get into like the proverbial hamster wheel
Mhm.
and you're like just spinning plates and you're like, what was I doing again? Like what was all of this for? You
Yeah.
know?
There
Like
was an
things
amazing
there are going.
exercise that we did in this master class, and I refer to it a lot because it was really one of the linchpins in me starting this very, 2.5 year, almost 3 year journey. Was we got an assignment, which was we're going to set a timer for 11 minutes, and you're going to take a journal or a piece of paper, and for the entire time, you cannot stop writing. You had to answer the question, what does wild success look like for you? So we all kind of split up in this beautiful place, and I found a pretty table by the window. I started writing, and I didn't realize I was crying. And so the gentleman who was leading us walked over and was like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before, ever." And I just realized in writing this down that I didn't know immediately how to answer because when I started writing, I was writing other people's goals. How could I achieve for other people? And in that flip, I'm like, wait, that's not mine. What do I want? What does success look like for me? And that was the awakening of that is my flag.
Hmm.
And I'm not even close to the road that is anywhere near that journey.
Hmm.
Okay, now I know. Now I've got a compass. Now I know. I'm gonna pack my bag up. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then I set the boundary lines, and then I set healthy goals. And then, but it was now I have a direction.
Hmm.
And that is where you can start to really assess the fear. But if you don't have a direction, if you really are spinning or spinning plates, it really is hard to know and have those assessment moments if you don't have a direction to travel towards.
Yeah, the other th and then I'll, well, I'll pause there. This conversation's just uh, kind of expanding, but the space to reflect on that, or even the awareness to know to take the space to reflect on that, like everyone's starting from a different place, um,
Absolutely.
and so like for me, it was a long journey to figure out what I wanted, like years of intensive, like looking inward and going,
Mhm.
okay, you know, is it this? Oh, no, that's not the thing. Oh, no, it's that way,
Yeah,
and then figuring out, and then you can go, okay, like now I'm ready to go on this adventure a little bit, and things will, and maybe I will want to pivot as I discover more, but
absolutely.
just taking the awareness to reflect and figure out what you want from the beginning is going to give you that direction.
Mhm.
Awesome. Nancy, that was a great addition. Thank you so much. Madalena, I see your camera's on as well, and you're in a beautiful background. Is there any
Thank you
questions
for
or comments
bringing
you
some
want to
more
add?
nature.
I
Lovely.
love it. And yourself, there you go.
Well, I've had my thank you. I've had my camera off because I was traveling my little ones in camp, and we got a notice yesterday that there would be a presentation on the last day of camp at 2:30 today. So I was traveling en route, and I didn't want to put that out for you. But and I unfortunately do have to get going soon because I would like to participate in what he's showing us. But what I wanted, I've taken so much already from what you've given in the last 30 minutes. Thank you, Devin, and thank you, Connie.
Welcome.
The one that's sticking with me right now is, Devin, you mentioned um, setting boundaries. Setting boundaries and around your goals. And I appreciated that if you don't fulfill, if you're not fulfilling those boundaries that you've preset for yourself, then you're allowing somebody else to set their goals for you.
Absolutely.
Um, so that's such a big one that I'm kind of taking away right now. Is you reminded me of that,
And
and
it's
thank
so
you.
powerful to remember that every step and even the work that you do for your company, it doesn't necessarily mean you're filling their goals. It's does where you work empower you on your journey? Are you getting something? Connie's introduced me to some wonderful young people in our industry who are looking for jobs or going through things. And I remind them in their interviews to switch the mindset. You don't go with your begging bowl saying, please, sir, I'd like a job, please, because they won't recognize you. Switch the mindset. You interview them. How can you help me reach my goals? What can you do for me? What do you deserve to get my skill set? And all of a sudden, they're going to remember the person who switched the table on them. They're going to want to talk to you again. And being on the back foot to defend themselves in the interview, they're going to want to go and get you because they're going to want to prove to you that they're the right choice for you versus the other way around. And just taking those empowerment goals and reminding them that where you choose to work, where you choose to apply, and that's not goes to be like, listen, we all got rent to pay, we all got a mortgage, we all got bills. Like I'm not
Yeah,
saying sit there and don't get your bills paid, but when you really are looking at your career, when you really are looking to fill your goals, remember that they are filling a goal for you, you are not filling a goal for them. And as long as it's empowering you on your journey, stay as long as you want. As soon as it crosses the boundary of this is no longer serving me, then it's time to think about why isn't it serving me? Can you change it? Can it pivot? Or do I
Mhm.
look for the next adventure that continues to serve me so I move forward on my journey?
Love that.
love it. Thank you. Yeah, I agree.
It
I'm
was
gonna
nice to meet you.
It was so nice to meet you. I apologize for leaving early. Thank you so much both for your time.
No worries. Listen, we're recording this, so feel free to jump back in and watch the full half of the other session that you've missed, okay?
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
So Devin, we're going to continue and we're leading into now the leadership and mindset questions because I think some of the things that you talked about with the young emerging talents that are coming to you asking for advice, it's very powerful to say, please, I want a job versus switching the table on them is a great advice. My next question is like, how many high achievers struggle with people pleasing and box checking, right? So there's a job description. We're going to try to please that interviewer. We're going to check every box that they said is part of their job description. But my question here is, what boundaries or habits helped you shift the performing to leading with clarity? So instead of just checking the box, we're now taking ownership of it and owning it.
Yeah, the very first public professional talk I gave was on what I call toxic box checking behavior. It was most of my first ever personal professional talks were about things I had struggled with that I felt I had overcome. So this idea of stop checking boxes was a visual representation of this idea that when you get this job, they give you a checklist and they say you will get your gold star if you check the checklist. Now, what most of us don't realize is in order to complete the checklist, we chip away at our authentic selves in order to check the checklist. Now, I'm 6'1". I have a naturally slightly louder voice. This is how I come, just natural. And I was told I was very intimidating. I'm like, I'm the nicest person you have ever met. I love everybody. Like, everyone is welcome at my table. And are like, well, because you're just big and kind of loud and, you're just intimidating. And I'm like, well, I can't physically get smaller. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to change for that. So what I tried to do was to just stop being, fade into the background, don't add in meetings, wear darker colors, straighten my hair, like literally how much can I disappear to appear pleasing and then continue to do my work without rocking the boat.
Mm.
And as you do that, as you're like, I also liken it to this idea of a scarlet letter. Like when you don't do things exactly as they are ordered on the checklist, this is exactly what we would like you to be and to do. You don't want to get the eye, you don't want to get the brand that you haven't done something right. And so, in order to avoid that, you kind of keep giving your pound of flesh to like avoid this otherness. And a lot of us don't realize how damaging that behavior is because at some point it's where burnout comes from. That's where really toxic attitudes at work come from. It's where burnout comes from. It's I'm giving and giving and giving and giving, but not with the mindset that I'm getting anything in return. And generally, the rest of the box checking anecdotes goes, okay, I did everything you asked. I checked all the boxes. I reached all my milestones. I'd like my gold star now, please. And they go, oh, I'm sorry. Did you see the back of the checklist? And the goalpost gets moved again and again and again. And the realization of, oh, you're never actually, when you do the box checking behavior, the list is infinite. It will never be filled. But when you can take some power back and say, well, actually, according to our agreement, I've filled all of my KPIs. I've exceeded in these areas. I really feel that now is an opportunity to start a conversation about future leadership, where you see me with this company, knowing that I can achieve goals set in front of me. I'd really like to broaden the scope. No one expects you to come back with that conversation.
Mm.
But when you go in like, please, sir, I'd like my raise now, and they go, the answer is binary. The answer is no. It's more often than not no, because you didn't check the back of the checklist. So the awareness in that space is so important. And again, keeping the mindset of the job that I take, the company that I work for should serve me on my journey towards my success. And when you can't go in with that mindset, it's so easy to get lost in the checklist. And, you know, Nancy, as you said, get back on the hamster wheel and just churn and just do. And when that's where you lose yourself. It's like, who am I? What is a goal? What do I want out of life? You don't know because you're just churning, and the only thing you have in front of you is someone else's checklist. And that applies everywhere. You know, the first time you meet a potential partner, you're going on a date and they're like, "Oh, I like sporty girls and I like them to do this." And you're like, "Okay, I can do that." And I watch football now and play fantasy this and wear the colors and I'll wear your team's colors and blah blah blah. You know, I'm checking the checklist. I'm turning myself into the perfect person that you have ordered. And these behaviors often go hands in hand. People who have a lot of issues with box checking behavior tend to have it bleed into their personal lives and might not be a spouse. It might be, I'm trying to be the perfect daughter. I'm trying to be the perfect friend. I'm trying to be the perfect mom based on this checklist that really you haven't set for yourself. So it's
Mm.
really easy to feel personal failure when you can't achieve these goals. And then when you want to step out of that people pleasing box checking role and you want to claim back some of your personal power, that's where things get interesting. That's where that friction comes in. And it goes one of two ways like, ooh, I'm sorry, that's not what I ordered. Can you please go back to being a people pleaser and a box checker? Or, wow, okay, eyes are open now. I'm intrigued. Where are we going from here? Maybe we need to have a conversation about realignment. But again, if it's too myopic, if you can't see it, if you can't do it, that's where you end up, you know, in maybe dysfunctional relationships and don't know how to get out of them. And that can be, again, personal relationships or professional ones. These things are not mutually exclusive. So having the awareness of going from a place of power, going from a place of ownership, believing in your authentic self and saying, there is someone for everyone. There's a job for everyone. There's a person for everyone. There's a friend. You know, they say go dance in the moonlight and see who shows up with you. Those are your people. Those are your people. Go find your people. And there is a community for everyone. I mean, thank goodness for the internet. We all found out there's a community for all of us. Like you just got to find your people. And that's what I try to teach and to voice as loudly as possible is a permission to take a step back and ask, is this authentically who I am? Or do I keep giving a pound of flesh till you've broken down and not realizing that you've given your whole self away?
Breathing this one deeply in because as we're talking, I feel like as we go through our seasons of change and transitions and as we mature and find our confidence and power, I'm saddened to feel like often that power leads us to our entrepreneurship and leading and driving our own business and taking on our own clients versus being able to truly find a space in a corporate environment and that has a job description where you
Mhm.
literally have and expected to do the box checking versus you flipping the switch and taking that power. What's your thoughts and intakes on that? Like, is there a reality of a dream job that's out there where you are working and you have a title and that you can actually have that level of expectations that you can be your authentic self, you can deliver and their goals matches my goals and that we're actually give and take equally? Or is it reversed
Absolutely.
where there's actually some companies I feel like I've worked with before in the past, they feel like they own you.
Yeah.
They and they dictate what you do and don't do and what you can
And I
say if
think
you're
that
not
gets down
saying.
to values. And that's where I think a lot of us miss um, is I took a job. It sounded good. I sounded like I could do it. Um, a lot of us, and us as women, we're talking her seat at the table,
Mhm.
we look at a job description and we're like, oh, I can do all of that. So we won't apply for a role unless we can already do all of those things. But yes, you can already do them. So there's no challenge there. There's no, I want to grow into the role. So that's where box checking first starts. And the second is going into the interview and asking about value alignment. Does this company support my values? Because when those roles happen, as you described, of they feel like they own you, that's a value misalignment. That's I won't want to work for a company that doesn't value me as a person, doesn't have, you know, support paternity leave. You know, that's really important for some families, or loan forgiveness, or supporting the community, or whatever your main values are, is trying to find a company that aligns with that. And again, some of us go an entrepreneurial route, some of us don't, but that doesn't mean that you can't find a place that aligns. And when that alignment happens with values, I think it still empowers your voice to be a part of the conversation consistently.
Mhm.
And as you move away from box checking and in terms of how is this serving me as I start to, okay, I want to learn into this role. Is there a course you can recommend so I can continue on my leadership journey? I'd like to see myself maybe in an AVP role in 5 to 10 years. Can you help me see that journey and where I would need to continually step up? Can you help me understand our strategic plan that ends in 2030? I'd love to know how I contribute to that so I can make sure. So when you have that voice of ownership and you're switching the conversation on, I will feel good about me and my journey contributing in this way. And I'd like to get something on that journey because I'm value aligned with this business. And that's where those conversations keep happening. And that's how you go from working 80 hours in burnout and not getting recognized to being visible, to having a voice and having a seat because you've seen the alignment, because you've expressed in a leadership style your desire to be a continued part of the process while understanding how you can contribute with your skill set and asking what other skills would make me more applicable for these roles, and is that a part of a compensation package we can talk about?
Beautiful. Nancy, anything you want to add here?
I mean, I agree with what you said initially, Connie, just that in doing that discovery for yourself, it kind of tends to lead us into, oh, okay, well, I think it means I need to forge my own path or work for myself because there isn't another, there it really, I like haven't come across the kind of company that's going
Yeah.
to give me the autonomy that I want, value me in the way that I want. I mean, ultimately, no one's actually going to ever give it to you in the way that you need versus yourself.
Yeah.
Like those are controllable variables. Only you can control yourself. You can't control your environment. And maybe you are with a great company and then, leadership changes or,
Yeah.
like, so a lot of those things are variable. And so it ultimately comes back to like what you want.
Mhm.
And I think there's been a huge advancement and improvement in the way organizations like behave and operate and
Hmm.
consider their talent. And like some, not all. Let's it is what it is, Some companies are great and some are like still in, the Flintstone era. So,
And the
um,
ones that aren't evolving are the ones that are seeing higher burnout, more turnover. You can actually calculate the expense of turnover and onboarding, and it's putting them in the red versus what do I need to adjust in this company to show the value of the human beings who work here?
yeah,
And the mindset continues to go to, and entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. I gave myself 2 years. I said, I'm going to give it my all for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, I will know one of two things. I will know I've built a sustainable business or a medium sustainable business and I can keep going, or I'll learn I've done my best. It's a little too volatile. Maybe it isn't fully for me. Can I add a job, can I look for a company that will allow me to still be a professional speaker or be able to do that while also, having a slightly steadier hours or a steadier income.
yeah.
And it's okay to pivot,
Mm,
but I'm still working for me. I'm still working for me, Inc. Whichever one of those variables happen, the autonomy to work for myself now I know won't go away. Like this provides me ways to do what I want to do to run my own business. And if that means
mhm.
staying solo, it means staying solo. If it means taking on a partner, taking on a partner. If that means, putting myself back in an employee position. No matter what, I know that the power lies in me saying that this is my journey. I choose it. And I can always say, great, I needed this for a year while going through a transition. I had to move to a different state, waiting to get my clients back up there, and away we go. And it's just always knowing what serves you best. And I think it all goes back to the first question of what does wild success look like for you? And the first minute, and everyone's got 11 minutes. I don't care where you are. You stop scrolling for 11 minutes, you can answer this question. And the ability to take the blinders off and to see helps to address so many of these issues because it's at least seeing yourself as having power over where you want to go.
Hmm.
This is awesome. So we actually have 13 minutes left, and I'm going to ask a different question.
Okay.
And Devin, this is going to go back to our pre-talk before we had guests
Mhm.
join us. And I want to ask the question about your playbook for sustainable energy off the stage and on the stage, because we talked about you being post-op 2 weeks and finding and giving yourself permission to actually rest, to recoup and re-energize yourself versus us, as entrepreneurs, and we want to go get it. We don't want to stop. How do you balance all of that and sustain the energy that you need to actually lead your business? It's a big question.
It is a big question because it's one of those classes I actually do pay tuition for more often than I should. And it leads to, getting sick or being overtired. And I've had to find the balance, especially going to industry events. We know that they're, 6 a.m. group workouts or 7 a.m. runs. And then, it's to last man standing. You get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, you get up and you do it again, and there's a lot of alcohol or there is not a lot of access to healthy food. When you're on the road a lot, and you're in airports constantly, it's like where is access to fresh food so it doesn't have to be fried or battered or, full of salt. And I've learned those things. It's really easy when you're traveling to have a vacation mindset. So like, yeah, I'm gonna go have a drink at the bar and I'm, gonna go treat myself to a dessert. And it's like, no, no, this is not vacation. This is work. And I need to remember that this is work and to prepare for work. And this is just a commute to work. And it's really finding mindsets and mindset shifts. I've had to say no to dinners. I say no to parties. I excuse myself from certain evening activities, especially ones that I realize once I'm there that are really triggering to, I have noise sensitivity. So it makes me feel incredibly overstimulated, and I find that it's very physically exhausting. So if I don't have like my earbuds with me or it's just too much to say, hey, this is lovely, I'm going to excuse myself. I'm going to go to a quiet place. I'm going to go watch a movie in my room. I'm going to go to bed early. I'm going to go take a shower, finding those things that I know will fuel me for days to come. And oftentimes I beat myself up for not working on airplanes. And I was like, oh, I should have my laptop out. I should be checking this or doing emails. I'm like, you know what? No, I read a book. I watch movies. This is a commute. This is a time to ideate. This is a time to be inspired. And sometimes I read and I'll like make notes in the margins or I'll get inspired by something. Or I'll play with my chat GPT and ask it to help me continue on the journey. Like, hey, like what questions can I ask? If I want to get here in 10 years, what are some steps I could take? What does a day look like in my dream life? Can you help me visualize that? So still something that helps me look forward that just fuels myself. And reminding myself when I'm home that there are times that I need to sit at another seat at the table, which is I need to not work. And I need to make my daughter pancakes on Saturday morning. And then my phone needs to be away. That is our special time. I am becoming a pancake maven. We do all types of flavors, like what I have in the house, but her favorite is s'mores pancakes because they come with marshmallows. So we have marshmallows in the house often. But this idea of that is our time. And when I'm home, I need to respect that. And then I get to charge my mommy batteries. Okay. And that is something I respect. And when we're together and I have my phone out, she knows to ask, Mommy, is that for work? And I would be like, you know what? This is not for work. You're right. Let me put that down. And I give her permission to say that so that she knows when she wants focus that she has my undivided attention. When we watch TV in the evening, Mommy, will you watch this movie with me? Absolutely, baby girl, you have my attention. And it's those things. It's when I'm home, do I have time to go to yoga? Can I take a walk around the block? Can I, do something for my health? Go to the chiropractor, get my nails done, and investing in these little pieces of dopamine that recharge my batteries. And as we said earlier, a friend helped me mind shift into this post-surgical recovery of rest is not a reward for hard work. Rest is the preparation for hard work to be done.
Mhm.
And that was one sentence that really helped me switch a little bit because being physically required to lay in bed to sleep and do nothing and to sleep and do nothing, I felt really bad. Like part of me was punishing my brain because I wasn't producing anything. And that sentence allowed me to realize I am laying here because I need to lay here. I'm watching this movie because I need to not do anything else with my brain other than lay and rest and hydrate and set little alarms to hydrate. And if I feel like eating, try to get some food in me. And that is my job right now. And if I watch this movie and I take that nap and I drink that water, I am producing what I need to do. That is the work that needs to get done. And it all comes down to mindset. And Connie, that's the hardest thing for a lot of us to learn is a lot of us have a more negatively tuned mindset, and that goes back, Nancy, to the hamster wheel. It's all negatively tuned, and that's what drives us on the hamster wheel. It's what drives us on the checklist because we're hunting for that positive validation by telling ourselves we're doing something wrong, which should motivate. But how do you shift to a positive mindset, to an abundance mindset? And how can that serve you? And even those of us who can do it most of the time still need a reminder to say, hey, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, which is resting. And that's what's required right now. Sleep in, take that nap. Like, skip the caffeine, don't go to dinner, or call your girlfriends and say, hey, I really need a girlfriend night. Can we put on face masks and eat grilled cheeses and watch Mean Girls? Because that's the kind of night I need. I don't want to get all dressed up and put the Spanx on and do my whole face. Like, I want sweatpants, hair in a bun on the couch friends who will make three grilled cheeses with me and we'll drink a bottle of wine and watch a trashy girly movie. And that's the kind of recharge I need right now just to honor my friend battery. So it's again, I think it just all goes to mindset and stop feeling like you have to ask yourself for permission. Ask yourself, what is the positive mindset that makes this possible and makes it something that charges me versus, putting yourself, on the hamster wheel and saying, I need to keep striving because it doesn't allow you to turn off. It doesn't allow you to switch to a different seat at the table and honor that and charge that.
Mm. All right, Nancy, are you going to unmute? There she goes.
Okay. Um, I mean, one thing that I've been becoming more aware of is just slowing down, period. And so I feel like sometimes like we can glamorize like hustle and busyness
Oh
and
yeah.
just doing it all and like I'm so busy. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm
Misery poker. I always call it misery poker. We love to do that in our industry. It's like, oh, I got 4 hours of sleep last night. My plane got delayed 37 hours. I had three clients call me back to back. And we're always like, I got one. I got one. I'll one up you. And we
yeah,
play that game of misery poker because we were taught, and we talk about the Flintstone industry, you got to pay your dues. You're going to work the 20-hour days and you're going to, only exist on Diet Coke and vodka and that's what you have to do. And I think the best thing about this current generation coming up is they're like, yeah, no, we do no. There is no value in that.
yeah,
And our first cycle, especially our older CEOs, the ones who are, seeing themselves out, are like, oh my God, you don't want to work hard and you don't want to play this game. And I'm like, well, let's hold on a second. Why are we playing this game? This horrible game. This
yeah.
sucks. And there's no value anymore in doing that. How wonderful that there's a generation who's allowing us to wake up and say, we want to do the work. And we know that there are days that are going to be your 15-hour days, your 20-hour days, your back-to-back flights. We know that. But this is our job. And we also value ourselves. And how wonderful that there's a whole set of people that had to remind a lot of us to honor ourselves.
Hmm.
And you're not your job.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's okay. Take your vacation time. Treat yourself. Get the mani-pedi. You want to go to the fancy restaurant? Go to the fancy restaurant. You know, we're not all on diets. You want to eat the pizza? Eat the pizza. Take care of yourself. And you're like, why do I need an 18-year-old to remind me to do that? Because we play misery poker. We have a
yeah,
negative limiting mindset. And it's so refreshing, I think, to be able to say, I'm not going to play anymore.
Mhm.
yeah,
I love all of this because it's Friday, happy, fresh, friendly, focused Friday, and all of this finger waving, and the permission to just eat your pizzas, go out, whatever you want to indulge. We earned it. We worked for it.
Earned it.
And thank you, Devon. 3 minutes. What's your last minute takeaway that you want us here and those that are watching later to really take away from you?
I think if I could leave anyone with anything, it's find your 11 minutes. Find your
Mm.
11 minutes, go to a quiet place, leave the kiddos at school for 11 minutes, go to your Starbucks, go to your favorite coffee shop, if you have an outdoor place or, the lobby of a beautiful hotel. Just find a place that puts you in a quiet headspace. Bring a pretty notebook or a beautiful piece of paper. I highly recommend physically writing. It helps to wire your brain a little bit more when you physically write something down. It's hard to audio note that, so highly recommend physically writing it. Set a timer for 11 minutes. What does wild success look like for you? And if I could leave anyone with anything, it's find time to do that exercise and really honor what you wrote. And then if you have an extra minute of reflection, where are you on that journey? And if the real answer is that journey is over here, great. Now you have a direction. How do you want to get there? How many left turns? Are there pivots? Are they bigger? Are they smaller? You don't have to take any action other than awareness. And if that helps you in any way, if you can even just turn from north to west, you've taken a beautiful action in the direction that's what success looks like for you. And maybe it's professional success, maybe it's personal success, maybe it's, like I really want to become a parent, or I really want to be a philanthropist. I really want to support a cause. I want to find something value driven and recognize that in myself. And being a successful person means always delivering on my values. It can look like whatever you want. There's no wrong answer to that question. But the awareness that comes from its answer is something I hope everyone finds immense value in and can put it somewhere where they remind themselves. And there's more steps to that exercise afterwards, and y'all can find me on LinkedIn and we can talk about the next steps. But that one alone, just give yourself the gift of 11 minutes and see
Mm.
what happens.
Beautiful. Devon, Nancy, thank you for being here today. And Devon, you mentioned to reach out to you on LinkedIn. Is that the best way to connect with you after this?
Absolutely. So I'm on LinkedIn several times a day. It's how I like to connect with my community. So please, it's Devon Montgomery Pasha at LinkedIn. You can find me through Connie. We're already connected on LinkedIn, so you can go down and send me a message, please. Once we connect, if you're a member of her seat at the table, would love to connect. I have a website you're all welcome to look at. It's dmpcreative.llc. You can see a little bit more about what DMP Creative does, what we offer our clients, the different services. I say our, it's me, what I offer my clients and services. But it'll give you a little insight into how I like to support our community of event producers, planners, the travel community, etc. And please don't ever hesitate to reach out. The power of our community is how we stay connected and support each other.
100%. Again, thank you so much for your time. And please
Pleasure. Thank you
now
for having me.
listen to your own advice. Rest, my friend. You
I'm shutting it down. I have lovingly got therapy in the next hour, which is a beautiful reset for my soul. So, not a treat, but something that I do to reset my batteries. Huge fan of psychological help, guys. Really do it for yourselves. Best thing I can recommend. No stigmas anymore. Invest in your own reset time. But that's what I'm off to, and then a nap. So,
amazing.
taking my advice.
Enjoy it and have a great Friday, everyone. Thank you for
Bye,
joining us
everyone. Have a
today.
wonderful weekend. Thanks
Take
again.
care. Bye.